The transmission came at 3:17 Universal Time Coordinated, a frequency no human satellite used. It shimmered across the void, alien in cadence, like whispered breath pressed through layers of cosmic static. It wasn't a message meant for Earth. And yet, embedded deep within the rhythmic pulses and harmonics, a voice emerged. Spoke one name. Elias Rendell. First I thought it was a prank. An AI simulation maybe. But as the decoded metadata spread across international science networks, all skepticism vanished. The signal was traced to a system 19 light-years away, originating from a planet catalogued only as Vireos 9. A dead world, they had said. A brown-green orb choked in storm clouds and silence. But silence does not speak names. Silence does not beckon. By the third week I wasn't a nobody anymore. I was the anomaly. Exolinguists, astrophysicists, spiritual theorists, they all wanted to interview me. Why would an alien transmission speak the name of a 29-year-old technician from a cargo station in low Martian orbit? I didn't know. I only knew one thing. The voice in the message felt familiar. 6 months later, I stood aboard the UEN Aegis, the first human deep vessel cleared for interstellar fold jumps with live crew. There was no committee, no vote. They told me I was going. Not just because the oracles, yes they were calling them that now, had spoken my name, but because I had said yes before they even asked. Had no family, no roots, just questions, and maybe a need to be something more. The jump was indescribable. They say fold jumps feel like nothing if done right. But I remember a moment, just a flicker, where everything inside me screamed like it was being pulled apart and reassembled with slightly off pieces. We arrived in orbit around Vireos 9. From above it didn't look dead. There were lights. Not electrical grids, something more organic. Veins of bioluminescent blue threading through the dense, swirling clouds. The landing team was small. Myself, Captain Helene Voss, exobiologist Miri Chu, and linguist Roldan Cray. Military escort stayed in orbit. We descended into a storm-choked jungle of twisted trees and sky-piercing spires. No ruins. No signs of civilization. And yet, as soon as I stepped off the shuttle ramp, the storm parted over me like a curtain drawn back by invisible hands. And a voice whispered in my head. You have come, Elias Rendell. At last. We found the temple 3 days in. Buried beneath centuries of moss and crystallized bark, it pulsed with living stone. A heart of the forest, humming with thought. No doors. No windows. Just a slope of stone that led downward into darkness. And as I stood before it, the vines uncurled. The earth shifted. Path opened for me. Captain Voss wanted scans. Ocean. Protocol. But the temple didn't wait. Took me. The moment I stepped forward, I was pulled through the threshold by invisible gravity. The others screamed. I reached back, but there was only light. Then silence. And a hall of mirrors. No, not mirrors. Reflections of me. Thousands. Each dressed differently. Older. Younger. Some scarred, others crowned. One wore a cape made of stars. One had metal arms. One was crying, holding the body of an alien child with violet skin. I staggered forward, trying to make sense of it. Then one of the reflections stepped out. He looked just like me. Identical. Except for the eyes, glowing with fractal galaxies. He smiled. Welcome, Elias. You are the fulcrum. They called themselves the air carry. Not a species. Consciousness. The oracles were not individual beings, but vessels. Roots of a mind that spanned the galaxy through crystalline biostructures. They existed outside linear time, speaking only when the pattern shifted. They didn't worship gods. They read the flow of fate itself. And they had seen me. A million versions of me. Across a million branches of reality. In some I was nothing. Speck of dust. In others I shaped empires, ended wars, caused extinctions. In all paths one truth emerged. I was realer than the others. And that mattered. The air carry had a word for it. Threntel. Roughly translating to a fixed node in a storm of maybes. The oracle who now stood before me was not my twin. It was the convergence of all my possible selves, made flesh through the temple's latticework. Guide. Mirror. The time of divergence has come, it said. You must choose which version of yourself to become. I didn't understand. Not until it showed me. Visions slammed into my mind like waves breaking over stone. Earth 22 years from now. Invaded by a silicon-based life form from the edge of Andromeda. No warning. No mercy. Mars turned into a weaponized base. Luna glassed. Billions dead. In one path, I led the counteroffensive. A diplomat turned warrior, uniting scattered species into an armada. In another, I betrayed humanity, joined the invaders, became their human voice. In yet another, I died tomorrow, slipping in the jungle, skull cracked on a rock. Each path started here. This moment. The oracle didn't ask me to fight. It didn't offer power or promises. It asked a question. Which version of Elias do you wish to be real? I spent 3 days in that temple. Or maybe it was hours. Time bled like paint on wet glass. I spoke to myself. To the one who saved a galaxy but lost his soul. To the one who raised a daughter on a peaceful colony world. Hidden from war. To the one who chose not to enter the temple at all. And in the end I said, I just want to be the version who chooses. The oracle smiled. And everything shattered. When I came to, I was outside the temple again. Captain Voss and the team were there. Alive. Weeks had passed. They had assumed me dead, until the storm shifted and spat me out with barely a scratch. But something had changed. Not in them. Me. I could feel it. A thread pulling through my spine. A clarity to the world that shouldn't have been. I could see possibilities. Not fully. Just glimpses. Captain Voss arguing with command back home. Seconds before her comm buzzed. Miri Chu's hand trembling before she confessed her sister's illness. A shadow on Roldan's neck. Skin cancer maybe just beginning. Small things. But they were true. The air carry hadn't given me visions. They'd given me alignment. A place in the pattern. Not a prophet. Not a god. Just someone who finally mattered in the weave of things. We returned to Earth to a hero's welcome. The transmission was played again. Name. My fate. And now people listened when I spoke. We weren't alone. And more importantly, we were known. The oracles had called me not to elevate me, but to prepare us. I wasn't the only node. Others would come. Other humans, other species. Pulled into the currents of converging futures. Some would fight. Some would heal. Some would destroy. But I had made a choice. And the air carry trusted it. 10 years later, I stood aboard the UNS Horizon, Earth's first interspecies alliance cruiser, heading toward a system we once feared, and now called ally. Virio's 9 was behind us, but its memory shaped every command I gave. And sometimes when I looked into the mirror, I still saw him, the reflection with the star cape, the warrior, the diplomat, the father. I wasn't him. Not exactly. But I was becoming. And in the softest of moments, I could still hear the voice. The alien oracles spoke your name, Elias. 'Cause you are real. More real than any of us.